Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing my April reading wrap up and I'm super excited. So I read 5 physical books and listened to 2 books on audio. So I had a pretty good reading month. So we are going to get to that in a second. But before I do that, I want to call out my mom's boyfriend, Kevin, because he's always making fun of my little Dobby up here and saying how creepy he looks. But I think he is so cute. Let me know down below. Does anybody else think he's creepy looking? Because I think he is just the cutest. My husband got him for me for Christmas last year. And I love him. Dobby's my favorite character. He holds a special place in my heart. So I'm just throwing that out there. So Kevin, I know you're watching. Dobby's not creepy. You need to stop. Anyways, so let's jump right into the books. So the first book that I listened to, I listened to A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas on audio. I listened to the graphic audio, which is available on Scribd, which is like a monthly subscription service that you can pay. I think it's like $11.99 for, and you get like unlimited audiobooks. And I loved the graphic audios. I will never be able to listen to these or even probably read these books any other way. Just top tier. The sound, of them like walking through the forest, winnowing from place to place, or like one of the best things is like it just makes it more realistic. Like when two people are having a conversation, but there's like a person who's like farther away or like kind of in another room, but you can still kind of hear them. Like it gives you that perspective of like these two people right here are like super loud, but that person's just a little farther away. So you get that depth perception, and it's so amazing to me. And every time I like just pick them back up and listen to them, like I'm just in awe of everything that probably had to go into these books in order to make them possible. And I don't think I really need to describe what the ACOTAR series is about. I feel like everybody knows what it's about. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling about Feyre. Feyre is our main character. And essentially she is out hunting for her family, and she comes across this beast and she shoots it with an arrow and it dies. And she takes the creature, she skins it for its pelt, and then, goes and sells the pelt for money because her family needs the money. And then a bigger beast, breaks into their cabin and demands that Feyre pay retribution by coming back with him to the fairylands because he is a fairy, and the beast that she killed was in fact also a fairy. And they have this like treaty that was built up like 500 years ago about between the humans and the fairies, and what happens if a human kills a fairy or a fairy kills a human and things like that. So it kind of just goes from there. That's a very baseline about what the book's about, but the books are so good. Like, and it's hard to talk about the books without like giving too much away, because there's 4 main books and a novella out right now, and they are all just like, there's just so much happening. But they're amazing. My mom is actually listening to them for the second roundabout right now because she loves them so much. And I know that, like I said, she absolutely adores them. Taylor, my friend Taylor, is also rereading them with me through the graphic audio. So it's just a well-loved book, and everybody just talks about them in such a positive way. And I just really enjoy Sarah's writing, and I think that she has she just describes the setting very well. Like I just feel like I'm in the world when I'm reading it, and even listening to the graphic audio just makes it feel like you're there. It's like literally like a movie in your head. So I definitely recommend the graphic audio if you can. Anyways, long story short, wow, that was a lot. So I gave both of those 5 stars. They're rereads, but 5 stars anyways. So that's that. So next up was Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I love Christina Lauren. I only gave this book a 3 stars. I went over very in-depth why I gave this book a 3 star in my reading vlog from a couple weeks ago. But I'm going to read the back of the book for you guys. So Macy Sorensen is settling into an ambitious, if emotionally tepid routine. Work hard as a new pediatrics resident, plan her wedding to an older, financially secure man, keep her head down and heart tucked away. But when she runs into Elliot Petropoulos, the first love and only love of her life, the careful bubble that she's constructed begins to dissolve. So it's essentially two storylines. When Macy and Elliot were kids, like growing up, Macy lived in like a summer home or a summer/weekend home next to Elliot's family, and they became, you know, really close friends, and they hung out all the time then. And then they, you know, slowly became in a relationship then, and then something happens, and then you jump, you know, to the now timeline, which is Macy with her current partner, like it says, you know, in her current job, and then she runs into Elliot again, but you don't know what happened. I think it was like 10 or 12 years ago. Yeah, I think it's 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago. You don't know what happens until the very end of the book. But so you're reading back and forth, you know, between then Macy and Elliot, now Macy and Elliot, and you're learning about the relationship, you know, and what happened, and you're just learning all about these characters and their lives between the two timelines. And like I said, not going to go too in depth with it. I loved this book up until the very end. Raved about this book. I annotated the bejesus out of it. You might not even be able to see it on camera. Probably not. I'm just wasting my time, but that's okay. But anyways, so I really liked it up until the end. I just don't think the author, as much as I love Christina Lauren, do not get me wrong. I mean, they are an auto by author for me, always and forever. They have my heart, but I just don't think that they handled what caused their breakup very well. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't think it was written very well. I don't think it was explained very well. I think they could have done a much better job at it. So yeah, I will leave it at that. So I suggest people reading it, and because a lot of people love this book. And if people read this book and take what happens as the authors intended it to be taken, then I could totally understand why people absolutely love this book. When I first read it, that's not how I read it. And so I didn't really enjoy the book. But anyways, it's really hard to explain. Please just go watch the vlog if you want to know my feelings about it, because I'm pretty sure I went into like a 7 to 10 minute ramble about it. But yes, 3 stars, really well written, description wise. I loved the book itself. I liked the characters. I just didn't like how the authors, what they did in the end and how they described what caused the issue at the end that caused Elliot and Macy not to talk. I just felt like it was out of character for the character to be in the situation that they were in, which led to another situation that happened, and all of it just kind of snowballed from there. And I just felt like it was kind of not in that character's wheelhouse. And that's that. And that's just how I feel about it. So yeah, 3 stars, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. So then after that, I read Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. I gave that book a 2.5 star. I did not like that book. So essentially that book is about Tisana. She's a slave. The night she goes to like buy her freedom from her slave owner, something happens and she like flees, and she seeks refuge from at the orders. But she has to like become an apprentice, but I guess, you know, the apprenticeships have already become underway, so she needs to find a teacher. But because everyone's already been matched, there's like no teachers. So she gets paired up with someone that has not wanted to teach, doesn't want anything to do with the orders, but once you're in the orders, you're in the orders. So it's like forced proximity. And in the beginning, I really love, and his name's Max Antarius. He's the teacher, and he's like grumpy sunshine. I mean, I wouldn't say Tasana's necessarily sunshine. It's just like grumpy normal, honestly. But so she has like these magical powers, like she can wield like these butterflies made out of different things. And she can do like a whole bunch of different like little magical things. And she's really good at it. So Max is teaching her, is supposed to be teaching her how to like better wield her powers and handle her powers, things like that. And, you know, so obviously they're going through this, and eventually like he, you know, starts teaching her. And I really enjoyed like the first part of that book, like where you're getting them like in that situation together, where he's teaching her, she's learning, and they're in that situation together. Where the story takes a turn for me is where this separate magical entity comes along, and the story for me kind of throws me for a loop, and I'm super confused. Not that I'm necessarily confused, but I just feel like it's out of left field. And I mean, this magical entity comes into play, and you learn why Max didn't want to teach Tasana in the first place. And I understand, you know, it increases the gravity of the situation, and it makes, you know, and it's something that, you know, just makes magic more powerful. And I totally understand that. But I just felt like it was just a weird form of magic. And it wasn't something that I've ever really read about before. And I don't know, it just felt kind of weird. It was never really explained like where it came from. And this is the first book in a series. So honestly, this is probably just me, and it could be further explained in other books where this comes from, where the magic comes from. But I'm not going to continue the series. So her writing was really beautiful. I did love her writing. So I may give her other series a try. And a lot of people did really, really love this book, but it just was not for me. If you guys have read the book and really liked it, or if you read the series and liked it as a whole, let me know down below. I mean, like I said, I don't think I'm going to continue it, because it was, I mean, like I was talking about it in my vlog. It was like getting to a point where like, I was like dreading picking up the book every time. And like, I didn't want to DNF it, because at that point I was like already 60% through, and I'm like, okay, like, I've already invested so much time into this book, like I really don't want to DNF it. So yeah, was not the biggest fan, but really enjoyed the first half of that book. Like I really liked Max and Tasana. I liked Tasana's whole backstory. I feel like towards that middle to end part, like Tasana's character kind of just like flew by the wayside, and like her character stopped getting like fleshed out, and like we started focusing more on Max's character, which is fine because I really liked Max. But it was just like, I don't know, I just felt like we didn't get as much character development and information on Tasana as like I would have liked. I don't know, just wasn't like the biggest fan of the book. Like I said, 2.5 stars. So after that, I picked up my baby, Zodiac Academy, Cursed Fates by Carolyn Peckham and Susan Valenti. So this is the 5th book in the Zodiac Academy series, so I'm not gonna go into at all describing what this book's about. But the Zodiac Academy series is about 2 twin sisters, the Vegas, Darcy and Tori, and they are in the mortal world, and their whole world gets turned upside down when someone comes to find them and lets them know that they are not mortals. They are in fact immortals, and they are long lost heirs to the Solarian throne. So they go to Solaria and are thrown into this whole world. They're fairies, and they are pretty much up against these 4 boys, the celestial heirs, who, when their parents, the Vega twins' parents, the king and queen, were killed, and the twins were perceived dead, the 4 heirs, you know, parents took over in like equal capacity, and they've been ruling as 4 equal people. So then they're like they're like a members of council, essentially. So then these celestial heirs, they've been training for this their entire lives. So now the Vega twins have come into play. And so obviously their parents see the heirs as a threat, and the Vega twins as a threat. And so then the celestial heirs see the Vega twins as a threat. So now it's literally the celestial heirs missions. There's Seth, wow, Seth, Caleb, Max, and Darius. Don't know why that took me so long. I literally love these characters so much. So it's literally their life's mission to make Darcy and Tori absolutely miserable. So it's a bully trope. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And I didn't really know that going in, but let me tell you, these books are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Obsessed. You guys know this. You know this about me. I love Zodiac Academy so much. So it's bully romance because the 4 heirs are obviously just like constantly bullying these 2 to try to get them to drop from the school, try to get them out of there. But the Vega twins, they're tough gals. So yes. So I gave this book, I think I gave this book 4 stars. I absolutely loved it, but I did not love it as much as the 4th book. The 4th book really had my heart, I'm telling you. But anyways, it was still really, really good. I love how thick these books are because you just get so much in it, and I just love it. So yeah, anyway, so that's this book. And then after that, I read Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which is about Charlie and Nora. So Nora goes on like a little sister vacation with her sister in this small town called Sunshine Falls. And while she's there, she sees her kind of work rival, Charlie. And they start kind of, talking and working together and discussing a book that one of Nora's clients is working on, because they're both in the book world. So Nora is an agent and Charlie is an editor. And so you're kind of following their relationship in this small town while also following the relationship of Nora and her sister, Libby. And Nora and Libby's relationship is absolutely adorable. You're kind of getting like this cute, just these cute moments between them, because Libby has 2 daughters already. She's pregnant with another child. And so she wanted to go on with her sister on this like little vacation just to kind of get away from it all and just spend some time with her sister before the new baby comes. And so they're there for like a month. And, so while Nora's there, she's working in the cafe at the bookstore where Charlie is. And so they're kind of running into each other. And it's just really cute. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. And I love Emily Henry. Oh, look at that. Another one of my auto-buy authors. She just has such amazing writing, has such amazing banter. And the characters are just, again, amazing. I gave this book 4 stars. Absolutely loved it. And I just honestly thought that Nora and Charlie's relationship was just absolutely precious. And I just love, my main thing with Nora is I love that she is herself and and Charlie doesn't expect her to change for anyone, and even for him. And my heart, I love that so much. So I definitely recommend this book. It is just so sweet. And I'm very excited to pick up Happy Place as well. But yes, definitely love it. Not as much as Beach Read. Beach Read still has a special place in my heart as my favorite Emily Henry book, but still really enjoyed this. So then the last book of the month that I read is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. So I honestly picked this book up at the library on a whim. I was not really planning on reading it. I was planning on reading it, but I was like, I don't know if I'm really going to like it, because I never read Caraval, so I didn't know if I had to read it beforehand, but you don't. I didn't read Caraval and went into this just fine. So essentially this book is about Evangeline. Her boyfriend that nobody really knew they were dating, ends up engaged to Evangeline's stepsister. So Evangeline goes to one of the fates, Jax, he's the Prince of Hearts, and essentially asks him to stop the wedding. And he stops the wedding. And then in order to stop the wedding, he's like, okay, well, you have to kiss 3 people anytime I ask, and any 3 people I request. And so she says, okay. And so honestly, this book is just all vibes. Like, it's just such a really interesting, like, location. Because it's just a very fairy tale-esque place. So you're in this world, and I'm just trying to think. So here we go. Yeah. So after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more than she'd pledged. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. So when he, cashes in his first kiss, she realizes, like, what the heck did I get myself into? And she's constantly mistaking that Jax has a heart, which he does not. That's kind of part of his whole shtick. So yes, so I rated this one a 4 stars. I started it at a 3.75, but I bumped it up to a 4. And I loved this book, you guys. So I'm in the month of May now, and I just finished the 2nd book. I'm obsessed, you guys. Oh my God. I'm not going to talk about it because it's not in this month's wrap up. But it made me love this book even more. Like, Evangeline is just such a sweetheart. Like, first of all, I love her pink hair, and I love just how sweet she is and how much she cares about other people. Like, she is genuinely just such a caring person, and I think that speaks volumes to her, and I just absolutely love that. And I don't know. I just loved this book so much. And I loved Stephanie Garber's writing. Like I said, it was very whimsical, fairy tale-like. And I just felt like it was just a modern day fairy tale. Like, I don't know how else to describe this. I definitely recommend people to read this book. I have been looking for the Fairy Loot editions everywhere, and they're so expensive, but they're so beautiful. Because, like I said, this is just a library book. But I don't want to go out and just buy the regular copies, because those Fairy Loot editions, you guys, are so pretty. But anyways, so yes, 4 stars, absolutely amazing. Stephanie Garber's writing is phenomenal. And I've had like a hard time, like I've been trying to find other books that have like that very fairy tale-esque vibe. So if anybody like has read anything similar to like the Once Upon a Broken Heart, Ballad of Never After vibes, like, let me know down below. Or if you guys have read Caraval, like I said, I haven't read it yet, so if Caraval gives like similar vibes, like, let me know, because I can pick those up from my library. I just wasn't sure if they gave similar vibes, because a lot of people said that Caraval like wasn't as good as these books, so I just wasn't sure. But so those are all the books that I read. I just hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.